Good evening. The polls are still open in many parts of the country. Votes are already being counted in some others. And in 3 states where the polls now have closed, ABC News has the following projections. We project that Mr. Reagan has won in the state of New Hampshire. New Hampshire has 4 electoral votes. ABC News also projects that Mr. Reagan is the winner in Kentucky. Kentucky has 9 electoral votes. And in Indiana, where the polls have also closed, ABC News projects Mr. Reagan the winner. That is 12 more electoral votes in Mr. Reagan's column. At this early stage of the game, then, President Reagan already has 25 electoral votes. 270 are needed to win. Good evening. It is now 7 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and the polls have just closed in 7 more states. ABC News projects that Ronald Reagan is the winner in the state of Florida with 21 electoral votes. ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan is the winner in the state of Georgia with 12 electoral votes. And we also project that Mr. Reagan is the winner in the state of Virginia with 12 electoral votes.
And we also project at this time that Reagan has won Alabama with its 9 electoral votes. Mississippi for Reagan with 7 electoral votes. Vermont, Reagan, 3 electoral votes. South Carolina, Reagan, 8 electoral votes.
Let us do now thank you, David. Let us do our first recap of the evening. Those states and 3 states that we projected during World News tonight, Indiana, Kentucky, and New Hampshire, make the present electoral vote total look like this. 97 for Mr. Reagan, none for Mr. Wandale. 270 needed to win.
4 states, and we have a little news on what they've been doing in those voting booths all day. In Ohio, we project the winner to be Ronald Reagan. 23 electoral votes, the biggest state we have been able to call so far tonight, one Mondale desperately wanted. In North Carolina, for Reagan, we project Reagan and 13 electoral votes in North Carolina.
David, it is early in the evening, but Mr. Reagan is piling on the electoral votes with 270 needed to win. Mr. Reagan has 133 and Mr. Mondale has none. Good evening. It is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and the polls are closed in 16 more states. ABC News wishes to project that Ronald Reagan has won in the state of Texas with its 29 electoral votes. The polls are still open in some parts of the states, namely in El Paso, and there is an important House race there where your vote will still count. No Democrat has won the presidency without carrying Texas. ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan has won in the state of New Jersey. The Republicans have won it in the last 4 presidential elections. ABC News projects Mr. Reagan is the winner in the state of Missouri with its 11 electoral votes. ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan has won in Tennessee. He won it only by half a point in 1980. He wins it again tonight. And ABC News projects that Mr. Reagan is the winner of the 8 electoral votes in Oklahoma, part of his western base.
Peter, with the additional states closed, there are now enough electoral votes voted on and floating around to choose a president. We now project Connecticut to have gone to Mr. Reagan with its 8 electoral votes. Kansas for Mr. Reagan, 7 electoral votes by our projection. Maine, our projection is that Ronald Reagan has carried it, and it's 4 electoral votes. Delaware, our projection is that Reagan has carried Delaware with 3 electoral votes. And here's a big one. Illinois, Ronald Reagan, 24 electoral votes. Now the first victory tonight for Walter Mondale in the District of Columbia.
Adding up 254 for Mr. Reagan, 270 needed to win. Mr. Reagan is 16 short. Mr. Mondale has 3.
We now project the winner in Michigan to be Mr. Reagan, which gives him the electoral votes to make him president for a second term. It gives him a total of 274.
Ronald Reagan still has a chance for an historic 50-state sweep.
One more state has closed its polls, Arkansas. Our projection is that Arkansas has gone to Ronald Reagan with its 6 electoral votes. Now, 280 for Mr. Reagan, 3 for Mondale. the 3 being from the District of Columbia.
And I have a projection. ABC News now projects that